Good morning. I am Reverend Shannon Jones, Vice President of Administration for Concerned Black Clergy. I am representing today our President, Betty Holland Williams. We have today several of the candidates that are running for the 5th Congressional District special election. I'm going to announce everyone. I'm going to give a brief statement, and then I'm going to bring up the Reverend Dr. Gerald Durley, our former president, to speak, and then we will hear from these candidates in alphabetical order. We would like to first say that Mr. Chase Oliver, who is the Libertarian candidate, has sent his statement. He had a work commitment today and could not be here. And Mr. Barrington Martin II is in 100% agreement and in support. And he had a family emergency this morning, so we pray that all is well with him. But we gathered this morning, but before we do that, let me just acknowledge the candidates that are here.
State Representative Abel Mabel Thomas.
State Representative Abel Mabel Thomas.
Dr. Robert Franklin.
Dr. Robert M. Franklin.
Kwanzaa Hall, former Atlanta City Councilman.
Kwanzaa Hall.
Former State Representative Keisha Waits.
Former State Representative Keisha Waits. And representing the Muhammad campaign.
Carrie Williams for Stephen Muhammad.
All right, Carrie Williams. And then we're also joined by James Williams, president of the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council. We're joined by their executive director, Sandra L. Williams. Candidate for United States Senate, Al Bartel, is here. He has also suspended his campaign to be here this morning with us. And Yvonne Brooks, Secretary Treasurer of the Georgia AFL-CIO. So we're very happy that all of these have come to be with us here today. But we're here for serious business today. These candidates have not suspended their campaign for no reason. They have done that because they are placing people over politics and people over profits. They are doing this today, and they are here today because they are standing against the weaponization of voter supremacy in the state of Georgia and in this county. 790-something thousand voters in Fulton County, 11% of Georgia's overall voting bloc. And we are seeing already in this election instances of voter suppression. We are bombarded with calls at Concerned Black Clergy about folks going to the polls only to be told that they have already voted. And when they say they have not voted, procedure is not followed. No one stops and calls down to the election board and say that they are voting in person. They are turned away. And this is proliferating around this county. And so we're moving towards a place of voter apathy. And we are saying that we are not going to tolerate voter suppression. As we look at right now, witness the transition of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we're reminded of that umbrella that she talked about. Throwing away the umbrella when the umbrella gave you protection in a storm. Throwing away the umbrella when the umbrella has worked, when the umbrella has given shelter, when the umbrella has made sure that there is no disenfranchisement of the vote. To throw away the pre-clearances of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 4, to gut that and to take away those pre-clearances are why we're here today. The problem that we are addressing today goes back to that decision. And in her dissent, she said that it's like being in the middle of a rainstorm and throwing away your umbrella because you're not getting wet. Well, we're here to say that the umbrella has always been needed because we have always been getting wet. We have always been being rained upon of the rains of injustice. And we're saying today that we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of it. Richard Barron, I want you to hear me today. I know that you're listening. I want you to hear me today. We've seen your plan for November the 3rd election. We've seen the plan. It is a robust plan. But we cannot trust that plan because we are already seeing instances of voter suppression in this election. And if you will allow this to happen in John Lewis's district, if you would allow this to happen in the 5th congressional district, if you will do that here, then we know that you will do it in every other place. State of Georgia, we are talking to you right now, and we're telling you that we are sick and tired in the breath and in the heart and in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. You have weaponized voter suppression. And you are creating the apathy. You are creating the course that is causing so many of our people to be blocked at the polls. And we're saying no more of it. So we're like watch persons on the wall. We are going to look at this injustice. But we are not going to look at this injustice like spectators that are sitting back allowing this injustice to happen. We are going to watch it because we're concerned, but we are not passively concerned. We are actively concerned. And so we are going to see this injustice. We're going to point out this injustice. We're going to call out this injustice, and we are going to stamp out this injustice in Fulton County and in the state of Georgia. We will not tolerate this. And so we're calling on Richard Barron, we're calling on the Secretary of State of Georgia to look now at what is happening in this early election. And we're letting you know that we are watching. We are the human wall that is watching. And we will point it out, and we will march it out, and we will stamp it out. So I want to call now on the Reverend Gerald Durley, who is our past president, and then we'll hear from these candidates.
Good morning. Good morning. My, what a time the Vice President, the Reverend Shannon Jones, has already articulated why we're here today. They said that Atlanta is too busy to hate, but it's so beautiful to see, and I'm glad to see the press is here because many times you show up when black folks are fighting, not uniting. But today, for a half a day, these well-qualified candidates who will be taking the place of my good friend, John Lewis, they are coming together and saying what's important is that we all get out to vote. The vote is powerful and significant. Each one of them in their own silos are strong in and of themselves. But when they come together to say to all of you who are watching them come before you in a few moments, you've got to get out and vote like you've never voted before. That's why they're here. Not for some show, not for some press conference, but because this is in the very DNA of these very qualified candidates. The Concerned Black Clergy for 30 years has been on the cutting edge of making a difference in this city and in this state. And we're still here with young brothers like this and the President Betty Holland and others. We're saying that we will not back up, bow, bend, nor break. We will stand here, but more importantly, as you hear from each of these candidates, you assess them, not from a campaign point of view, but from the sincerity and the very DNA of their spirituality as to why it's important for you to vote. Don't sit around, go to the box, vote in person, send in your ballot. This is our moment, this is our time, this is a Kairos experience. Do you have a choice? No. Come to vote. Thank you, press, for being here when we're doing something extremely positive rather than fighting and talking about violence. We can't get distracted. That's why they're here. So as each one of them comes up today, listen to them. Listen to why they say it's important to vote. And we will have a good time. Now, if y'all agree with me, somebody ought to say amen. Somebody ought to let the people know. Let's say it together. Vote. 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 And our first speaker will be...
Thank you very much, Dr. Durley.
Yes!
We'll let that,
You're Durley over the siren. Let the siren
we'll
go.
let the siren go for a moment. But that siren's just telling us
Yep, it's time to wake
that there's a
up.
fire of voter suppression among us, and the alarm is being sounded. You cannot run for the seat of John Lewis and not be committed to walk the course of his legacy, to continue to lift his legacy, and to stand upon his shoulders. And this morning, these candidates have come, suspending their campaigns officially, to be here this morning in unity to address voter suppression in Fulton County and in the state of Georgia. We'd like to hear now from Dr. Robert M. Franklin.
Thank you to concerned black clergy, to Dr. Jones, Dr. Durley, and all of its leadership. Today is an important day as fellow candidates gather in unity as a coalition. The coalition was the watchword of the civil rights movement that John Lewis and others led when labor unions, the faith community, lawyers, nonprofit leaders, and other business interests came together to say no to injustice. And that is why we are here today. So important for us to say we do not intend to sit by idly and watch voter suppression. We do not intend to sit by quietly or silently to see malfeasance and bad behavior. And that is why this morning I placed a call to each of the offices, Fulton County, Clayton County, and DeKalb County election offices. And Dr. Jones has already given notice to the Secretary of State. We are watching. The eyes of the nation are on Georgia. The tragic mishandling of an election in the June primaries is now set the stage for getting this one right and getting November right. And so we are here to say we stand together, we pledge allegiance to John Lewis, and his immortal words animate us as we go forth from this place. When you see something that is wrong, find a way to get in the way. You have to say something, do something, get in trouble, good trouble, and that's what today is about.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Franklin, and we will do Q&A after the last candidate has spoken. We call now on former Councilman Kwanzaa Hall.
Thank you, Pastor, and thank you to the concerned black clergy of metropolitan Atlanta. I'm Kwanzaa Hall, former Atlanta City Councilman, and I'm running to bridge the gap between the great legacy left to us by Congressman John Lewis, Ambassador Andrew Young, and the next generation of justice warriors. For most of my life, 40 years, Congressman Lewis was my neighbor, a friend. He mentored me along with his wife Lillian through high school, college, and also on council and Atlanta School Board for 15 years. So today, when I stand with my colleagues, I stand with the unions, I stand with our pastors, faith community. It means a lot to be able to say that we're going to stand up to voter suppression in our state, in this election, in the country. We're going to ensure that we have leadership in Washington that will speak truth to power, that will send the message to President Trump that no longer will we allow the type of leadership that has let us down. We need leadership on coronavirus. We need to ensure that we pass the George Floyd Justice Act today. We need to ensure that we have leadership that will listen, leadership that will be right on the appointments to the Supreme Court. I'm Kwanzaa Hall, and I'm running to bridge the gap. I need your support. Early vote today, tomorrow, through Friday, and September 29th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Hall. We will hear from a representative from Steve Muhammad's campaign, but since we want to get all the candidates that are here, I'm going to call now on Keisha Waits to come, former state representative, to come now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. As a woman of faith, I stand before you deeply concerned, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. That in the backyard of the late Congressman John Lewis, we're still having these conversations surrounding voter suppression. In a Democratic county, 790,000 people have been disenfranchised. I won't echo the sentiments of my colleagues, but I will say this. Voter suppression is often disguised in mismanagement. It's disguised in long lines. It's disguised in moving and closing precincts. And so I stand with my colleagues today in unity that we are sending a message to the voters. This will probably be one of the most important elections that you will have in your lifetime. Now that we've lost two titans in Washington, it is necessary that we not only send a person of faith, but we send a person of moral strength to continue the amazing legacy of Congressman John Lewis. And so I stand with you today in unity that we are putting Richard Barron on notice, that we are putting the Secretary of State on notice, and we're calling for federal election monitors to monitor what is happening, because this will be this will set us up for what happens in November. And so I'm happy to be with you this morning. I'm asking each of you, regardless of who you vote for in this election cycle, please get out and exercise your right to vote. Congressman Lewis made an amazing statement. He said one of the most powerful tools we have in the nonviolent movement is the power of the vote. Again, my name is Keisha Waits. I'm former State Representative Waits, and I stand with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative Waits. We will now call on Ms. Carrie Williams, representing the Muhammad campaign. Oh, excuse me. We will call on Mabel Thomas. Well, she's gonna knock me upside my head.
Hey, I told him I've been knowing him a long time now. I want to say peace and love, and as always, power to the people. I want to repeat again what was said, that Honorable John Lewis says the vote is the most powerful act of nonviolence one can do. I agree. Voter suppression is wrong, whether it's the governor does it, the Secretary of State, or a bureaucrat at a polling place. Ignorance of the rules is no excuse. Poll workers have to be trained by their higher authorities to provide this essential service. Voter suppression is morally wrong, whether the president does it, the Republican Party, or the Democratic Party. Specifically speaking to the voter suppression of over 300,000 people in the 5th District alone. What I also want to say is there has been confusion based upon what the Democratic Party has done. People continue to call us and ask, are you on the ballot in November 3rd? There's been a suppression of information specifically as it relates to this position, because people are thinking that we're on November, and so we are having people lose their enthusiasm and not thinking about going for the special election for the unexpired term, but actually thinking about November. So what I'm trying to tell you is we need clarity, transparency, and we need to make sure that we support the process of people going to the polls and letting their voice be heard. I serve in a very fast-paced session called the Georgia General Assembly, and also have served as city council person citywide. So I've traveled all over this district listening to the people, listening to the voice of the people, and they are saying clearly they do not want taxation without representation. Amen. They do not want that. Also, it was talked about the Honorable Judge, the great Judge Ginsburg, Ruth Ginsburg. It's been talked about her work for democracy. And her work for democracy was one that she wanted equality for all. And what we're seeing is that the biggest vote block has traditionally been the woman's vote. And basically, to show the disrespect that they have around the women's vote, is that immediately after she passes, the President of the United States started talking about who to replace, which further suppresses people because people don't believe that justice works for them at all. I submit to you, justice must work for the people of the 5th District. Okay? So I come in solidarity with you to make sure that we know that what to the people, no matter what's going on, ain't no stopping us now. We must continue to fight for justice. We must continue to fight for the little man who's always left out of the plan. And we must make sure that the media, you be our friend. And being our friend, you got to help get clarity on this election, because just today, somebody asked me, is your race over? I say, no. They say, well, somebody say on the news, I ain't trying to say nothing, but on the news they say the election of our election is over. No, it ain't. It ain't over till y'all vote for me.
This is on unity.
All right. So anyway, I love you. I appreciate you. Power to the people, and let's continue to fight for justice, because that's who we are. We are justice fighters, and the vote is the most powerful nonviolent act we can take. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Abel Mabel.
Thank you so much.
Thomas, I guess I better move fast. It seems like these campaigns, the unity's here, but it seems like these campaigns are getting ready to start back up on us. I want to bring now Carrie Williams representing Stephen Muhammad. Do say where he is.
Yes. Independent candidate Stephen Muhammad wanted very much to be here this morning. He had a very critical doctor's appointment, and he had communicated at the candidates forum that he was looking at participating at this news conference today. The following is his public statement for the news conference. We have gone on record during our campaign against voter suppression in any form. Any and all voter suppression needs to be brought before the public and the media's purview for intense examination. I have participated with the Concerned Black Clergy for nearly 30 years. We have worked together on numerous occasions over the years to organize, highlight, and take positive actions that create safe and decent places to live in our communities. This participation included the formation of the Concerned Black Clergy's local organizing committee for the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. in 1995, as well as the joint collaboration for the establishing of the 10,000 Fearless Community Center in the Vine City and English Avenue communities. This statement is offered in fulfilling on my commitment made publicly during the Concerned Black Clergy Candidate Forum on this past Monday, September 14th, 2020. U.S. Congressional Independent Candidate Stephen Muhammad, 5th District. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. And again, we have several partners at Concerned Black Clergy. Chase Oliver is also running, and he had a work commitment today, could not be here today. I'm not going to read his entire statement, but he says that first I want to say I wish I could be there in person. We wish you could have been here too, sir, but to stand alongside the other candidates in this race. But I join my colleagues in this race in condemning any steps taken to deny the right to vote to every person in this district and this country. The right to vote is sacred, and anyone, be they government or private entity, who seeks to disenfranchise the people of their right to vote should be brought to light and fought against. John Lewis was a champion of voter rights, and all of us running to fill the remainder of his term take that responsibility seriously. I advocate for more choice, more voices at the ballot box, and want everyone who can vote to get out and vote. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity. I wish again I could have been there in person. We want to hear from our partners at the union. And so I'm going to bring up Sandra L. Williams, representing the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council. And then I do want to hear from, now he's not running in this election, but he suspended his campaign. He came here today, and it would not be right for us not to hear from Al Bartell.
Good morning, and thank you, Concerned Black Clergy of Metro Atlanta, all you candidates. I am Sandra Williams of the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, and I'm here today to say we encourage every one of our members to vote. Why to vote? Where to vote? Because as spoken earlier, polling places are changing. They're changing rapidly, which is horrible in an election year. We think back to Dr. Martin Luther King and how he stood with AFSCME, and our Secretary-Treasurer, Yvonne Taylor Brooks, has been an AFSCME director and a leader to all of us. We must encourage everyone in our community to vote, and we must educate people as to why. So we are very pleased and thankful that we were included today as a partner in this effort. Thank you.